I heard this story from Martin Shaw, and I'm going to try this afternoon at Triple Spiral, but I thought I'd record it in order to practice it. Okay, it goes something like this. Once, long ago in Borneo, there was a young woman who was about to give birth. And as is the way, all the elder women gathered around her, grandmothers, wise women, and the other women of the village. And after 3 days of screaming and shouting and cajoling, she indeed gave birth. And I'm pleased to tell you, it was a beautiful daughter. But she was different. She was very different. You see, one half of her was smoke. She had one arm, one leg, but the rest of her was just cloud and smoke. But the parents were so overjoyed to have a new daughter that they took her under their wing. They looked after her, and she grew up a happy little child. Not a care in the world. She became part of the village, and she moved around, just half a person. But at about the age of 7, she started to notice that there was just half of her. And she went up and found her mum and said, Mum, where's my other half? Mum said, you don't need another half. You're fine as you are. Go on. I'll go and see Dad. Dad. Now the dad doted on her, but could see from the ruffled brow she had that there was something really worrying the girl. What can I do, dear? Where's my other half? I don't know. I don't know at all. Sorry. I will try to help if I could, but I can't. And this went on the next few years. Everywhere she went, the little girl would ask people, where's my other half? Teachers, friends, neighbours, everyone around the village. Where's my other half? And after a few more years, she reached the age of 16. And by then, she had become angry, very angry. Where is my other half? I need my other half. I need it. But no one could help her. So, one day, she decided that she would leave the village and look everywhere for her other half. So in the middle of the night, with no one around, she set off out into the wide world. And she became a wanderer, doing different jobs, finding different people, and of course, asking them all, where's my other half? But of course, no one could help her. No one knew where her other half was. A wise man said, you might need to find it yourself. But where? I don't know, said the wise man. And she went on her way, asking everyone, where's my other half? And she got more and more angry about this. Then, one hot summer's day, she was sitting by a river, cooling her feet, or rather foot, splashing it about, splashing water on her face with her hand, when she saw something out of the corner of her eye which she thought she'd never see. Coming towards her along the bank was a woman who was the exact mirror of her. Exact mirror, but her cloud and smoke was the other side. Now, you'd like to think that they got into conversation and chatted about their experiences, but no, very quickly they got into a spat, a fight, arguing, shouting at each other. And it wasn't clear what had happened, and very quickly it became a proper fight. And they grabbed each other and they fell with a huge splash into the water. If you'd been there, you'd have seen an arm come up, then a head, and then another. Then they disappeared under the water, and there was silence. And then about 2 minutes later, spluttering out of the water, came a whole person. They were kind of not joined correctly, but they were whole. 2 arms, 2 legs, everything was as it should be. She wasn't pretty, but she was whole, a whole woman. And gathering herself up, she struck the water off herself and went out, continuing her wandering. Years later, this woman, the whole woman, was walking down a track, and she thought, this is vaguely familiar. I think I recognise where I am. And ahead of her on the track, she saw 2 old people, a man and a woman. And instinctively she raised her hand and waved, and they waved back enthusiastically. And they looked overjoyed. She moved towards them. Where am I? She said. You're home. You're home, said the old woman. You're back, and you're whole. The father came over and gave her the best hug she'd ever experienced. But Father, why did I leave? Well, we couldn't give you what you needed, and you needed to go out into the world to find it. Come, we're going to celebrate your return to the village. And indeed they did. There was a great party that night, and everyone drank a little too much, but had a great time. And the woman, she decided to stay in the village, and she became one of the wise women of the village, giving advice, helping out where she could, and helping indeed with births of other children. And some evenings she would sit under a particular tree, and people would gather around her, listening to what she said about her travels and her experiences, and telling stories around that. And she stayed there for years and years, and eventually died. And she also became a tree. And people would gather under her tree, under her, and talk and receive wisdom from the great boughs over their heads. That is my story.